Hello, Amanda here, and today's video is going to show you how to make this Joy Fold card, and I hope this is the first video in a long series of Fun Fold Fridays. So I ended up doing a bonus card with this. There was one with the lovely papers from the annual Close to My Heart catalog, and then this one with the new Wonder papers. It was just on my desk and I thought I could make a quick and easy masculine card and send it out to my brother to hopefully make him smile. So this book that I'm showing you is something that I did back when we lived in Michigan, and I had a monthly club and everybody came, and so once a month for a while, I want to say for almost 2 years, we did fun folds, and occasionally I would throw other things in. But what I want to do now is to go through this book and recreate these folds for you and teach you how to do them. I highly recommend that you grab a book or a notebook or have something that you can keep some of this information in, because there's little things that, oh, I know how to do this, this is easy, but the little information really can get forgotten once you've learned so many videos. So just showing you some of the cards that I've made over the years. I really like these bendy cards. They're fun to do. They add a big punch too. So we're going to get started, and if you want the written instructions for each of the Friday Fun Fold cards, I should have them on my blog. They might not be there right away, but if you are not watching this immediately when the video comes out, you should be able to click a link in the description and go to the blog and get those instructions. So like I said, we're going to start with the Joy Fold card, and I have all of this. This is like a whole big bin of scrap papers from various sundry projects and that I found in different places, and I just grabbed some of the embellishments. I have a whole bunch of different ones, but I just grabbed some embellishments to have on the side as well. So to start this Joy Fold, it's pretty easy. You start with the standard card base 8.5 by 5.5, and you fold it in half. You score it at 4 1/4 and fold it in half, and then you cut the first 2 inches off of the front of your card. And one of the things that I really like that was kind of a happy coincidence is I had done a layout cutting circles out of this lovely paper that I'm using for this card. So that was one of the circles that didn't get used on my layout, and instead of it being a rectangle that you fold as your second mini base or mini card, you can use a circle, you can use a snowflake, you can use a heart. So I grabbed some sage paper, and I'm using it on, I want to use the darker side. I love the two-tone cardstocks. So I needed more interest in it, so I went off camera and went ahead and ran that through the wood grain embossing folder, and now I'm just gluing it to the inside. I did ink the edges, as you saw, and again, I'm just taking my scraps that are sitting here on the desk. I punched this little leaf viney, and I just thought that would make a nice little decorative edge, and it would kind of counterbalance the leaf border that was on that pink paper that I had. And that's just the zip strip that I didn't cut off of the paper when I used it originally. So I'm just using it as is. I did end up cutting the front of the base card down a little bit more. I think I took another 1/2 inch off just to make that pink paper fit and not have to have another paper on the front, because I didn't want it competing with the circle and kind of the direction I was going with this card. So now I just glued that leaf strip down, and these are sentiments that when I'm I know I need to be doing work, but my mojo is gone, or it's the end of the evening, and I'll just sit and stamp sentiments. So this is from my sentiment bag, and again, just inking the edges so that all of the elements on this card will have the edges inked. And now I'm kind of auditioning some of the scraps that are to my left and seeing what I like, what might work, what won't work. I decided I wanted some more of the bluebell cardstock and to just fill that area and just tie everything together, so that's exactly what I did. Again, inking the edges. I had thought about running that through the embossing folder as well, but I decided against it, partly because it goes from top to bottom of the card. It's not framed in, so it's a different element, and I'm going to end up putting a strip of white paper for sending a small message with the card. And I'm kind of auditioning again that of, do I want it here, do I want it there, where do I want to put that? So I'm pulling out these Wreath Embellishments, and I really liked them, and I liked them because they went with the circle theme we're going with, but the flowers that were on them were just a little too bright pink or dark red. They weren't the light pastel pink that matched the papers. So again, if you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen my big leaf collection in greeneries, I'll call it. So I'm just pulling out some fern fronds, they kind of look like, or they could be considered pine boughs. Grabbed my butterflies, pulled out this white one. My artist oldest son was saying, "Mom, you can't really see the butterfly," and it's like, I understand, but you're also 10 feet away from me, and when you're up close, this white butterfly is perfect because it's not too stark, it's not too bold, it's just kind of there, just like butterflies. So now I'm taking a stamp from, I believe it's the Isabella stamp. They just have these little berries on, like sprague, I'll call it. And so I just used sage ink and stamped those on my white piece for my writing on the inside of my card. And again, I'm just using up kind of stuff that's in my craft room, some of my embellishment stash, some of them from my scrap bin, and just kind of having fun with it. So I'm going to finally glue this fold, that center flap down, and the butterfly kind of got lost, and so I went ahead and just scallop punched a bluebell circle. Again, it just ties all the colors in, but it was too stark. It needed some interest in it. So again, I just grabbed that Isabella card making stamp set and punched one of the flowers on it. I got that sprig again from that same stamp set and with sage ink stamped around the outside just to soften it. And now I'm using the Bluebell shimmer brush, easy to say, and just again giving it a light color. You're not going to see a ton of it, but it does give some interest behind the butterfly. And I had some glue that kind of squeezed out, and it was making my card stick a little, so I used my cornstarch sock to just absorb all that and make it so that it no longer had glue where it shouldn't be. So now I'm just gluing this big butterfly down, and I think the butterfly die cuts, thin cuts, are still available on my website if you like that. They were from the You Are Enough paper pack. And I'm just getting a piece of silver thread, and I'm going to tuck that in under the butterfly. It just kind of, again, is a soft look to the card. You could have done some circles out of vellum or something like that if you wanted. And again, I'm just trying to use up my embellishments and things that I have lying around that are one-offs. And this card is coming together really nicely. I love how it turned out. And I went ahead and I actually made some cards for the second video in this series, which are the Z and the double Z folds. And while I was doing those, I did more masculine cards, and so I had the wander papers out. So I'm going to show you that next. And I'm just finishing up. These are some old embellishment pearls that the color retired. I think they're blush from a long, or they might be bashful, but they're retired papers, or embellishments, excuse me. So here's that wander paper, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of the decorative papers as my card base. Close to my heart pattern paper is thick enough that it can hold up to being a card base, so I really like doing that. This is more of the traditional size for a Joyfold card. So you have your base that's your 8.5 by 5.5 that you cut 2 inches off, and then your other mini card that goes inside that to kind of interlap their openings is 4.25 by 5.5. So it's just like the front of a standard card base, and you fold that in half and tuck it in, and that just gives you the proportions that are easy on the eye, because it's basically half of your card base, because you've cut the card base or folded the card base in half. Again, I had these wonderful trees in the perfect colors for this wander paper already in my stash and cut. So I'm using the cherry blossom stamp set, and it has the You Make Me on, it's kind of the moon or the sun in the camping theme of this card. So that says You Make Me, and then when you open it up, it'll say smile. And I have these embellishments that a lady does out of clay, and she did some out of vellum, but I happen to be using a clay mousse today, and it was just so super cute, and it was a good size for a card, so I just had to put it in. So I was deciding if I wanted the smile at the top or the bottom, and that's why I was kind of going back and forth on that, but eventually I decided to have it up on the top. There we go, and I'm going to add some trees on the inside just as some interest, and then you will see me fight with getting the glue dot off of this clay mousse because they're kind of old and they've been compacted, and so you just cut the old glue dot off and move on. And I needed something else on the inside, so to balance the color on the right, I went ahead and used the zip strip on the left, and this is just a simple card. It's nothing spectacular. Here's the first one again with the lovely papers, and you can see the embossing, and then here's the simple wander paper card. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna put some videos here that hopefully you're interested in, and I do both scrapbooking and card making, but like I said, this is Fun Fold Friday, and I hope this is the start of a really long series. Have a great day. Blessings.